What is your full birth name?
My full birth name is Maria Gilda Fátima Nunes Brazil Bettencourt.
Were you named after anyone?
My name Fátima I was named after my mom's sister who, her name was Fátima, and she passed away when she was 2 years old. And so when I was born, my mother decided to name me after her.
And is that the story behind your name?
Yes.
When were you born?
I was born May 4th, 1976.
Where were you born?
I was born in Velas, São Jorge, Açores.
What early memories do you have of a child in the Portuguese-American community or in Portugal?
My family immigrated to the United States when I was 6 months old. Some memories that I have growing up in a Portuguese-American community was going to the festas, celebrating religious holidays, getting together with family.
When did your family immigrate to the United States?
My family immigrated to the United States when I was 6 months old. That was November of 1976.
Why did your family leave the Azores?
My family left the Azores for a better life, for more opportunities here in the United States, such as jobs and housing.
Where did your family settle and why there?
My family ultimately settled in Turlock, California. My family my parents had brothers and sisters that were already living here in the area, and they decided to stay nearby where they would have support from their families. And my parents got jobs in Turlock and surrounding areas, and eventually my mom and dad were able to establish their dairy business in Turlock, and that's where they've been ever since.
Did your parents or grandparents ever tell you what it was like to adjust to life in a new country? What stories were passed down to you regarding their early experiences?
They talked about it often. They talked about how hard it was to be able to communicate with others when they barely spoke English themselves. They talked about how it was difficult to adapt to customs that they weren't used to or didn't agree with.
Since you're part of the first generation of your family to immigrate to the United States, how important was it to your parents that you be raised with a strong Portuguese identity?
I think very important, especially to my mother, who would always correct us when we didn't speak Portuguese properly. She would always make sure that we were pronouncing words properly, and that we would, respect others, aunts and uncles, and also that we went to church every Sunday. That was important to her and my dad. And that we worked very hard and had a lot of respect for our elders.
How is this identity expressed through language, foods, traditions, and festivals?
This identity was expressed through the foods that they made, the traditions such as going to the festas and being a part of them.
What cultural traditions have you maintained, and why has it been important to you to maintain them?
Some of the cultures that I've maintained have been including my children to be part of the Portuguese festas and those groups, I find that are important. A lot of community, a lot of Portuguese exposure, being that we live in the United States and California. I want them to have as much exposure to the Portuguese community as possible. And so having my girls be side maid or queen for a festa, I think is a little bit of that exposure that I can give them.
Have you been to the Azores, and what was that experience like for you?
I've been back twice since we immigrated. I went back when I was 5 years old, and again when I was 15. So many, many years ago. I don't remember much about those times as a teenager. When I went, I just remember it was a little difficult to adapt to because there wasn't the foods and things that I was accustomed to already in the United States.
Trace, if you will, some of your experiences growing up in the Portuguese-American community in the Central Valley throughout your life.
Growing up on the dairy and working every day, day and night on the dairy. Going to church every Sunday. Celebrating festas when those times came around. Going to dances, going to the bullfights. Those were very fun. Yeah.
Of all you have accomplished, what are you most proud of? And what proud moments do you remember in the Portuguese-American community?
Of all that I've accomplished, I have to say I'm pretty proud of my family, my kids, where we've gotten today. I owe it to my parents who sacrificed quite a bit for us. They worked very hard to get to where they are and to provide for us and to provide an education for me and my brothers.
To what extent do you believe being Portuguese-American has shaped the way you have moved through life, both professionally and personally?
I think it's helped me with integrity as far as hard work, ethics. I often think back to what my family and I have accomplished and what they've been through and what we've been through and what I want for myself in the future.
What does being Portuguese-American mean to you?
There are no words to explain. I'm so happy and proud to be Portuguese-American. I couldn't imagine it being any other way.
How do you see the Portuguese-American community today?
I've noticed that the Portuguese-American community it seems like it's getting smaller, and as far as festas and other religious events, there aren't as many Portuguese people attending those. There aren't as many people helping out with the festas, and unfortunately those seem to be dying a little bit, and it's sad to see.
Is there anything we didn't cover that you'd like to share?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. Thank you.